know I'm not crazy. I just heard somebody say Kens twice, but I don't see who is it. I don't know that dude. Oh, yo, it's Youngster, man. What's up, Youngster, man? I ain't seen you since we was at the Rotary Farm together years ago. What's up with you, bro? How you doing? Well, you know, since you brought it up, Youngster, man, I was a little disappointed in you to see you walking back to the shower with Big G. I ain't understand, especially, you know, after all the talks that we had, bro. So hold up, you mean to tell me they was forcing you in the shower, man, and taking your commissary, making you do things that you didn't want to do in the penitentiary shower, bro? Stan Lane. Nah, I never heard of Stan Lane, man. So he tried you when you got to the prison yard, too? I know you didn't go for that. What you do, bro? You put that work in? Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV, in the house like motherfucking kitchen sinks. So I'm at the grocery store yesterday, and this is wild. This is the wild turn of events, if you will. So I'm at the grocery store yesterday, and I hear somebody say Kens. Kens. I turn around, and I look. I see a dude, but it's kind of like from a distance. So the closer that we get to each other, I realize, oh, what's up, homie? It's Lil Youngster. Now, Lil Youngster is... Okay, let me break it down to you. I told a story a few months ago, and it's titled, he was turned out in the prison shower by a booty bandit. Well, the story that I told was about Youngster. Now, if you all haven't had the opportunity to view that video, go check it out. And once you see that video, you'll better understand what I'm speaking of in this video. Now, before we go any further, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that all my stories are guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, don't feel like being there, you're dragging, the day's going slow, people's getting on your nerves, bosses getting on your nerves, or you're on your way home from work, trying to take a nap, trying to sleep at night, depending on whatever time that you see or hear this video. Perhaps you're in the mood to laugh, sometimes the mood to cry. Whatever the case may be, we got it for you over at Real Kens TV. So with that being said, there's definitely a message. Oh yes, there is a message today. So I'm sitting there and we conversating or what have you. Now, keep in mind, I haven't seen Youngin, like I've ran into him like in traffic or kind of in passing, but I haven't really seen Youngin in an intimate setting. Pause. Double pause. Matter of fact, intimate just wasn't the word to use. I hadn't seen Youngin to where I could actually conversate with him. I think that's a little bit more appropriate. Now, I'm the type of individual, man, I stay in my own lane. I don't, you know, I mind my business. What you did is what you did. But I feel as though Youngster felt compelled to explain himself to me. Not that he had to, but he knows that I know, or at least what I thought that I knew, as far as the situation with him and Big G. Now, to kind of familiarize you all with this story, if you've forgotten or you, like I said, you haven't actually seen the video. Lil Youngster was, he was the younger brother of one of my good partners. One of my good partners, man, we've been cool for years. And so, Youngster ended up, you know, in the county jail with me on his way to prison. We were both on our way to prison. So I'm schooling him. You know, I had already been to prison. So I'm telling him, okay, look, don't do this. You know, don't gamble. Don't borrow. Don't mess with nobody's boyfriend. Not that I thought that he would do that. Definitely don't steal. You know, I'm lacing him with the game of prison. All the cardinal sins when you're in prison. Try to stay off the basketball court. If you want to go and shoot around a little bit, okay, it's cool. But, you know, once they get serious and running whole court and things of that nature, don't play. Stay off the poker table. Don't loan anybody anything. Just stay to yourself. If you ever have a situation where you got to defend yourself and fight, fight. All that I'm just trying to go home and I don't bother nobody. No. When the time comes, you got to stand up and be a man. That's what you got to do. Or you're going to be a mouse. One of the two. But if you allow somebody to do something to you once, guess what? They're going to continuously do it. So these are all the things that I would tell him. They wake him up one morning, B&B. B&B is when they call you to prison. He goes to prison, but I don't go. We're both waiting to go, but that don't necessarily mean that we have to go at the same time. So he's at the Rotary Farm, a.k.a. the fish tank. That's where you go in Kentucky and you get, classified. They do a medical exam, physical exam, psychological evaluation. You're assigned a caseworker. They look over your case. They decide, okay, what level you're going to be. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At that point, once you're classified, you're just waiting on the bus to come and get you and take you to whatever prison that you're going to be sent to. I get to the Rotary Farm maybe about a month and a half later. They send me in the dorm. When I go into the dorm, it's not very many people in the dorm. Everybody, they're out, at the chow hall. So I'm putting my stuff up. I go to my bed area, whatever. They sign me, bunk 49. I go to bunk 49, check the lockers, check the foot locker, make sure that there's nothing, that's not supposed to be there. Because even though I just got there, if they came into the shakedown and found a shank or something like that, guess what? They consider that mine. Take the, disinfect, spray down, my area that I'm going to be in. I just make sure that it's, it's thoroughly cleaned. So I'm doing all these things. People are starting to come back into the dorm from the chow hall. Lo and behold, I see a little youngster. Wow, they done put us in the same dorm. Okay. So, I'm what's up, youngster? How you been? Hey, how you doing, man? He said a couple words to me and then he just kept going. Man, that ain't like youngster. What's going on with him? And he didn't even look the same. Little youngster was 5'7", weighed about 160, 165 pounds. Had short hair, kept a little fade or whatever. And he had a little chin strap. All of that was gone. As far as his facial hair. He was smooth shaven. I ain't really think anything of it or whatever. But it did kind of have me a little kind of concerned, if you will, or confused, because it's like, man, youngster used to sit for hours and talk in the county jail, and now he's not saying anything to me. Oh well, so I think nothing of it or whatever. Now, when you get sent to prison, your first day, it's a long day. Like I said, they wake you up 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and basically you just on the go all day long. I lay down and take me a nap. I'm tired. They come through and count. Once they count, I take my nap. I wake back up later on that evening. Oh, the aroma in the air is it's a beautiful thing. See, the commissary in prison is almost like the stores out here on the streets, man. I'm smelling popcorn. I'm smelling people's cooking Polish sausages, burgers, salmon, tuna, anything that you can, chicken, anything you can possibly imagine is being cooked. The smell literally woke me up. In addition to the noise. It gets a little noisy in prison. It's a 100-man dorm. Only thing that's in the dorm is you got maybe 4 or 5 phones. Half of them are not even going to work. You got 1 television. You got a couple tables. And that's pretty much it. You got chairs. They probably have about 50 or 60 chairs. And at the very end of the dorm, that's the bathroom. You go into the bathroom. It's about 5 toilets, 5 sinks, big old shower area that'll hold about 10 people. And the bathroom's kind of spacious. So people go to the bathroom to hang out, smoke their cigarettes, or, they'd be back there rapping or just kicking it, in the bathroom. That was the hangout spot. Wake up and I look around. I see a little youngster. He's sitting on Big G's bed. Now, I'm familiar with Big G because I had done time with Big G the first time I had been locked up. I don't personally know him, but we had, previously been locked up together. He's sitting on Big G's bed, and I'm like, this is strange. Why would youngster be sitting on Big G's bed? They're eating, they're, having a good old time. Big G got about 3 or 4 of his partners around him. Big dudes, you know what I'm saying? Now, Big G was a big dude himself. Big G's probably 6'2", maybe 6'3", but I'd say closer to 6'2", about 220, 225, maybe 230. Been doing, man, he's been locked up so many times. Chiseled. I'm talking about he's chiseled. So apparently he's just coming in from the streets because being at the Rotary Farm, that's, you know, when you're first coming into the system, you're going to go to the Rotary Farm, a.k.a. the fish tank. So apparently he had violated his parole or something like that. But Big G had done a stretch. I'm talking about a long stretch. Dark-skinned dude, short fade. He was funny. He was a funny type dude. He had a whole lot of jokes, but he was mean as a rattlesnake when time came to be. So as I mentioned, man, I see him, so I see my partner in New York. I mean, in New York, I knew him from the first bid I had done. What's up, man? Me and him, you know, we get to chopping it up, kicking it or whatever. Man, you need something, man, you know what I'm saying? Now, typically, I'm not going to accept anything from anybody, but I knew New York. You see what I'm saying? And I had actually sent him some money when we were out on the streets. And so, I was actually out on the street. He was locked up. He eventually got out. We ended up at the Rotary Farm back at the same time. So, you know, he gives me, you know, deodorant. Because when you first go to the Rotary Farm, I don't care if you got 10 grand on your account. You got to wait till store day. At this particular time, you could only go to the store once a week. So you arrive on a Tuesday, and your store day was Tuesday. Guess what? You got to wait a whole week before you go to the store. The Rotary Farm, they're going to give you some generic soap, some generic toothpaste, and that's pretty much it. Some toilet paper, some cheap razors, which I don't use razors on my face, shaving cream, I don't use none of that stuff, and some cheap shampoo. You don't have no deodorant. You just don't have no deodorant. Just the way that it is. You hustle till you get you some deodorant, or you continuously wash up 3 or 4 times a day, you know, until your money comes, or until, you know, store days, whichever one, you know, arrives first. So, you know, New York, man, he blesses me, man, gives me some deodorant, you know, throws me a little starter kit or whatever. So I'm asking him, and I typically don't get involved. What's up with youngster, man? He was like, bro, you know Lil Youngster? I'm like, yeah, man, he's from, you know, we from the same hometown. And he was like, bro, the first day he walked in here, he ain't left Big G's side since. They take showers together. They eat together. He sits over there all day long on his bed and really don't move. When Big G goes out for rec and he's exercising or, you know, getting his workout on, he's out there with him. Or if he doesn't go out there with him, he's sitting at his bed the entire time. I'm like, yeah, man, because I said something to him. And then he kind of spoke, but he kept it moving. He was like, man, because Big G, you know, they ran game on him. You mean they ran game on him? What they do? Except when Lil Youngster first came in, Big G seen him. He wanted him. But he didn't approach him in a matter of, come here, I'm taking this. Nah. See, they don't do that no more. They use their brains now. So he goes on to tell me that Big G had ended up paying a few dudes to come at Youngster on some old, you know, aggressiveness in the bathroom. Threatening him. We're going to take you. We're going to have you. Scared the hell out of him. Youngster ain't never been locked up before. A few weeks in the county, a couple months in the county, but he ain't never been with the lions, tigers, and bears, and gorillas, and goons. So once that happened, Big G comes in the bathroom. Hold on, man. That's my little partner, man. Y'all leave him alone, man. Oh, I'm sorry, Big G. Nah, and I'm just saying, man, if I catch y'all saying something to him again, man, we're going to have a problem. It's all game. Big G done gave him a couple zooms and whams to do these things or what have you. So now Lil Youngster shook up. Come here, Lil Youngster, man. You kicking it with me, man. You ain't got to worry about none of that, man. Now, they didn't live in the same bed area, but Lil Youngster, you can go in, like, to people's bed area. Now, in prison, you're really not supposed to sit on anybody else's bed. It's not supposed to be 2 men to a bunk. But a lot of the COs, they not really tripping on that. You know, you just kind of sit at the end of the bed. I never did it. I would always find a chair or a footstool or something to sit on. A foot box, rather. But I never sit on another dude's bed. And so he's telling me all of these things, and I'm like, wow. And it just ran game on dude. He's like, yeah, he don't leave the area. He don't really talk to nobody else. He's like, I'm assuming Big G probably, you know, got him in check. He ain't allowed to talk to no other dudes. I said, man, you say they be taking showers together? He said, man, every night they get in the shower together. Like clockwork. I see Big G. I see Lil Youngster walking to the shower. They got their boxers on. Got their little shower shoes. Got their little soap and stuff in their hands. Because, like, you can get these little bags, put your hygiene stuff in. And they got their towels, you know, wrapped around their necks. is going on for real? What's really going on? They walk into the shower. And as they go to the shower, it's 3 goons that's walking behind them. Big dudes. They the lookout guys. So basically, the shower was just for Little Youngster and Big G. Nobody else was in the shower at that time. Remember, we're in 100-man dorms. So I guess this block of time was designated for them to get into the showers. Now, not that you would, but you can look and see in the shower. Like, if I just turn my head, I could see in the shower, but, like, there's a wall. So you could just see kind of like, you know, chest up or what have you. And again, not that anybody's looking, but sometimes you just, you know, you can just see in the shower. They turn all the showers on. There's a little trick. You turn all the showers on, which fogs up the windows. So you got the 3 goons, they security dudes. They're standing by making sure, for one, nobody comes into the shower. For 2, nobody runs in, you know, and trying to save the day. And they're making sure that security don't walk through. See, they have it timed to where the CO walks through, you know, they do their walkthrough so many times a day. So they already know, okay, he's not going to come back through for another 30, 40 minutes. It was a thing, like I said, it was timed. They were doing this every night. So they're in the shower, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe. Because like where New York's bed was, it was like towards the back of the dorm, close to the bathroom. I'm like, I can't believe this, man. After all the talks that we done had, after everything that but then I'm thinking in my mind, like, man, they ran a game on him. He 5'7", 160, 165 pounds. Ain't never been in penitentiary before. He ain't no street dude. He don't have a lot of partners that's in here. It's not like he's gonna, hey, it's my hood right here. Yeah, come with us, man. Nah, it wasn't that type of party with him. So although I definitely don't agree with the tactics, and I don't agree with him doing it, as far as Youngster, you know, falling for the banana in the tailpipe, I lightweight, understand, like I'm empathetic. Man. Stay in the shower, whatever, they do their thing. I really want to say something to Youngster. I really want to snatch him up, man. But I can't afford to get involved in this. It's not my dog in the fight. Even though I feel like, man, I'm letting his brother down, man, because I said that I would look out for him. What am I going to do? I don't got a lot of my partners in there myself. You know, New York, he'll push that thing. He'll push that blade. But I'm not trying to put nobody else in another, in my troubles. Because I'm jumping into somebody else's situation. And I have absolutely nothing to do with it. Big G see me. You know, what's up, hey, what's happening, man? You know, he understands that we've done time together. But we're not cool like that. And he got goons. He got money. And he got goons. They never really even go to the chow hall that much. Every once in a while, they may go to the chow hall, give his tray away, or if he needs something like off the chow hall tray that he's, like sometimes people will want tartar sauce. Stuff like that you couldn't buy at the time off the commissary. He may go to the chow hall and get stuff like that. Or typically, he's going to send somebody to bring it back. I watched this go on damn near every night. Got to the point to where it was just the thing to do, evidently. Much as I wanted to say something, I never said anything. I didn't tell his brother. Never said a word. And I'm not going to say often, but from time to time, I would call his brother and we'd talk on the phone or whatever. And, you know, his brother would send him money and his brother would send me money sometimes too. Brother was real, real cool, man. Still is. Very, very cool. So it was a form of guilt, a form of shame that I had that all of this was taking place while I was there, but yet I really couldn't do anything about it. Hell, I got to watch my own back. Just because I've been to the joint before, that don't mean nothing. A person will try you in a heartbeat. I got to watch my own situation. Little Youngster, eventually they call him. He gets transferred. He leaves. They send him to whatever prison that he was going to. And he just gets sent to a camp, so he's cool. All right, cool, man. At least they didn't send him behind that fence. Because he got classified as a level 2. You're level 2, you can go to a prison camp, which means there's no fence. It's lower level inmates there. Now, you got some gorillas there, but they've calmed down or they've gotten their point score down, and they're not acting a fool because once you go to a camp, 48 months or less, and you have an opportunity to go home. So he gets sent to a camp. Eventually I get sent, and I never said anything. So with all that being said, that was the last vision, the last image that I had of Lil Youngster. We barely even spoke. He couldn't even barely get off the bed. And I wasn't trying to intervene in a situation, because if I went over and I talked to him, Big G, man, what you doing talking to this dude? You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be talking to nobody. So I didn't want to get him essentially into any sort of more trouble, if you will, than he was already in. So I just, you know, left the situation alone. I did me. I seen him. What's up, man? You doing all right? Other than that, we in two different worlds at this point. So all of that I just told you, it was just kind of catching you all, I guess putting you up to date. Now, you still should go back and watch the first video, because there's so much more to the story. I just had to kind of paint the picture for you and let you know how we got to this point. Well, Real Kens, what do you mean how we got to this point? The point of Youngster and I conversating in the grocery store. So as I mentioned, he knows that I know everything that I just mentioned to you all. He knows that I know. So he said, hey, bro, I just want to, first of all, just say thank you, man, because you never said nothing to my brother, man. He was like, if you did, he's never said anything to me. And I know my brother, he would say something to me. I said, Youngster, it's not my place to say anything to anybody else. You know, it's your business. You see what I'm saying? It's not my place to say anything. He said, yeah, but let me tell you something, big bro. It wasn't the way that it seemed. I'm like, bro, you don't owe me no explanation, man. It was a long time ago. He's like, nah, just let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you. So we sit there in the grocery store and we talk. And he was like, all the things that you told me about prison, I kept them in mind. But when I got down there, these dudes came at me. 3 big old dudes, man, what am I supposed to do? They trying to take my commissary. He's like, because initially, I was like, nah, man, I'm not with that, whatever. They took my commissary. Every time I go to the store, they would take my stuff. Going in my box, taking my, my items out of my box. He was like, I couldn't really get my hand on a weapon. You only get 1 day. You only get 1 hour per day out of the cell. And even when you do that, you go to the yard, and it's kind of hard to get your hand on a weapon. Excuse me, y'all. At the Rotary Farm. He was like, so when Big G came to me, he tells me, look, man, I'm going to look out for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure don't nobody bother you. I knew that it was probably something to it. But I was tired of these dudes, man, threatening me and taking my stuff. He said, so, it started out, me and Big G, he would tell you, okay, you take a shower when I take a shower. That way you ain't got to worry about nobody running up on you when you're in the shower. Because that's a favorite place of people to, prison showers are very, very dangerous. So even though I was reluctant, I went on and did it. He would cook. Hey, man, you want to eat with us? Man, the only thing you got to do is just wash out the bowls, man. That's it. He was like, I wasn't in there washing no underwear, washing socks, or nothing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't know about the underwear part, but people was in prison, they hustling just to eat, just to get by. So you got people that washes t-shirts, socks. Hell, you probably got people that wash drawers. I don't know, anything to get by. So he's like, we would go to the shower, and at first, we would just be in the shower. He never did anything to me. He never forced his way on me or anything. He said, one time we was in the shower, he said, hey, little youngster, man, I need you to wash my back for me. So he said, he was like, oh, wash your back? The fuck? He's like, yeah, man, it ain't nothing like that, man. I know you think I'm going with this. It ain't even like that. How a grown man tell you to wash his back, but convince you it ain't even like that? So he said he ended up, taking a washcloth or whatever. He washing dude's back or whatever. So now, every time they would get in the shower, he would want him to wash his back. He said it went from that to... I'm trying to figure out a way to put this, because this is YouTube and they will... Basically, he wanted to watch a little youngster get himself off, get his money. That's what they call it in prison, get his money, get himself off. He claimed that's all he wanted to do was just watch a little youngster. It turned him on. Youngster say, man, I'm not with that at all, man. Okay. No problem. Well, I tell you what then. Since you're not with it, and that's your right, I ain't gonna make you do nothing. Since you gonna do it anyway, you might as well just do it in front of me. But since you're not with it, that's cool. Now you're gonna have to get in the shower by yourself with everybody else. These lions, tigers, and bears. These wolves. But actually, Big G was a wolf. He was just kind of dressed in sheep clothing. Kind of. And them three dudes that was running up on you, I can't protect you no more. So out of fear, he said, man, I went on and did it. He said, so every time we got in the shower, that's what we did. And we did it together. He get himself together. I get myself together. And he said, and it would just really, really excite him to sit there and watch me. He said, other than that, we never did nothing. He never penetrated me. I never, nothing. Other than that, we never did nothing. So I'm like, man, bro, that, you know, I don't know what to say. I'm sitting there like, okay. But, I don't know. I'm like a loss for words. Like the way that I am now is kind of how I was when he's telling me this. And I'm not laughing because it's sad. He was like, man, I wanted to tell the people. He was like, but I know what it is in prison. This dude's done like 20 years. He said that if I told anybody that I'd be considered a rat, I'd be considered a rat, and everybody in no matter what prison system I go to, they would find out about it. I would let everybody know, being that I know everybody. This is a Big G talking. I know everybody or a lot of people on every single yard, and they will know you a rat. They ain't gonna do nothing but put you in protective custody. When they put you in PC, I got reach down there. Pause. When I say I got reach down there, meaning that I know I can send people in PC, or I know some people in PC. You see what I'm saying? He basically was blackmailing him, scaring the hell out of him. So he said, I just, I complied. When they called me to leave, oh man, it was the best day of my life, because now I'm getting away from this. I'm done with it. He said, I want to come and kick it with you all the time. He said, I just didn't want to get you in it. He was like, because Big G had already seen us talking before and was like, man, who's that dude? I don't want you talking to him. I don't want you talking to nobody, but I especially don't let me catch you talking to him. So he said, I just kind of left it at that. They ended up sending him to a camp. He went to Bell County Forestry Camp. It was sweet. With no gorillas on the yard, he didn't have no problems or anything of that sort. He ended up catching staph really, really bad. Got a staph infection. They sent him to KSR. KSR, Kentucky State Reformatory. It's the oldest prison in Kentucky. Mentally ill is there. The mentally challenged. The crazies. The goons. The killers. The dealers. The murderers. It's murder! Yeah. KSR. Now, a lot of people like to go to KSR because, they used to call it Cell Phone Central. It's all the cell phones on the yard. They got a lot of nurses. A lot of nurses. And, you can snatch you up something nice at KSR, to be perfectly honest. And I'm talking staff. Not that I would ever do anything like that. That's just what I heard. He's at KSR. Even though he's back on the prison yard to where they, it's barbed wire and it's people with life sentences and people taking their lives every day, and it's all type of gross stuff going on at KSR. He has to stay there for a minute because to get rid of this staph infection. Thing about prison, somebody is always going to see you and recognize you from another prison. One of the people that was at the Rotary Farm with little youngster, they recognized him and they remember. Yeah, it's that dude, man. Big G had him, in the shower bent over. People would just say anything. They wasn't even in the shower. Had him, every night, man. Had him in the shower bent over. They caught the attention of Stan Lane. Stan Lane was a booty bandit. Stan Lane apparently already had his eye on Lil Youngster. So he's telling me all of this, and I'm like, wow, for real? Now, I don't know who Stan Lane is. So he goes on to tell me that Stan Lane is a white dude. Said he's a, big dude or whatever. And a lot of people knew him, tattoos everywhere, long hair, big beard or whatever. And word got back to Stan Lane that Lil Youngster would get down with the get down, to say the least. Got open showers. He's very apprehensive and very careful when he gets into the shower. Speaking of Youngster. The problem is when you have open showers in the pen, it's very rare that you're going to catch the shower when nobody else is in there. Because the same thing that you're doing and you're waiting to get into the shower, guess what? The next person is waiting for the shower to be empty just as well. So he's in the shower. He said he's taking quick showers. All of these things, man, he's telling me. In the grocery store, we kicked it. He's trying to hurry up and take a shower, clean up, rinse off as quickly as he can. And it seemed as though every time he would get into this shower, Stan Lane would be in the shower. This is crazy. I'm going to tell you. Fleece Johnson, I just watched the video on Fleece Johnson over at Hustle Spirit 502 featuring Fleece Johnson and Big Lee. And he was talking about how he had a occurrence to where he was in the shower at Eddyville, Kentucky State Penitentiary, home of Death Row. And he was a youngster then. And a dude, I guess, was pushing up on him. Urban Dictionary, a dude was flirting with him. He liked him. And said that he kept walking past him and kind of rubbing up against him. And Fleece said, like, the second and third time, he felt dude's action. You digs. Urban Dictionary, again, his private parts. Brush up against Fleece's buttocks, to be politically correct. And so Fleece said, he ended up dealing with the dude appropriately. So I was just watching this story, and Lil Youngster's telling me the same thing. He said, dude would say little stuff to me, and I felt as though it was appropriate, and I felt disrespected. He said one day the dude walked past me. Same thing that Fleece said. Dude brushed up against me. I was like, I'm sorry, Youngster, man. I was just trying to, get by or whatever. Once again, Stan Lane's a gorilla, man. 6'2" or better. Probably 240, 250. He got a gut. He's not cut up like Big G, but he's been in prison for a long time. Like I said, he got the tats. He got that prison look. Tattoos on his face. Come walking through, stomping through, you know what I'm saying? I'm 5'7", 160 pounds, man. But I'm not letting nobody take me. So one day he's in the shower. He sees dude coming. He's leaving. He's getting out of the shower. Dude's coming in. Stan Lane smacks him on his butt. Okay. He keeps going. Now, Lil Youngster, he had a skill. He was very, very good with he was skilled with his hands as far as like maintenance. He could fix anything. MacGyver. I used to call him MacGyver. I seen the dude fix a transmission with a paper clip. That's how cold he was. Seriously. That's how cold he was. Fixed the whole transmission with a paper clip. And a piece of string. So, at any rate, he was very cold in his hands. With his hands, he worked down in maintenance. So, being that he worked down in maintenance, he had access to tools. Screwdrivers. See where I'm going with this? Sharp objects. Saws. All the things that you don't really have access to on the yard. If you work in that maintenance department, you have access to it. Now, when you work in the maintenance department, anytime you have, you get a tool belt every day. So he's walking around the yard and he's, fixing certain things or what have you. Now, originally he got sent to KSR because he had staff. So I guess once his staff got better, they didn't just automatically send him back to the camp because that's not the way that it works. You got to wait until you get classified again. So here it is, this low-level inmate that wasn't even supposed to be on this yard is being housed on this yard until they send him back to Bell County Forestry Camp or to another camp. Every day, like I said, you get your tool belt. You got to check your tools out and check your tool belt. And, they take inventory on everything you had. Youngster was able to get a long screwdriver. Pause. He said it was one of those big long screwdrivers. And he said that he sharpened it. Because he had a way to sharpen it. To where, even though the end of it is already sharp, like the flathead screwdriver, he said he just made it sharp. And he said essentially it was like a sword. He snuck it back to the dorm with him. This is not going down no more. Ain't nobody gonna make me do anything like this anymore. People are already looking at me as though Big G had me bent over. It's already bad enough that I went in the shower and humiliated myself. And this is not going down no more. He kept it with him. Being that he worked in maintenance, the security, they didn't really bother him as much. He took it with him everywhere he went, especially that shower. Said he was in the shower one night. Lo and behold, Stan Lane walks into the shower. Their last occurrence in the shower, Stan Lane had smacked him on his butt. He'd already brushed up against him. He's already saying things that's, making him uncomfortable. So what's it going to be this time? I know at some point you're going to try to take me. And a bandit in prison, they may try to do it the smooth way. Some will just knock you straight out and just take you. Drag you in the cell if you have a cell. Or they may just take you right there on the shower floor. Remember, lions, tigers, and bears, goons, gorillas. Dog eat dog world, the penitentiary. You youngsters listening to me? Are you youngsters listening to me? Because them Dracos and them switches and them Glocks, can't get that in prison. I'll just stab me. Yeah. Everybody says that. Everybody says that. But it's not that easy to get your hand on, on one of those things, one of those pushers, if you will. And then when you get one, there's no guarantee you're going to keep it. Because you're going to have to bury it on the yard or keep it in a hellified hiding spot so that the people don't find it during a shakedown. So if you don't know how to use these, or you ain't tied in with somebody, or that's your ass, Mr. Postman, potentially. The youngster was showing more heart than a lot of these dudes. He wasn't going. He's in the shower, like I said. Stan Lane approaches him. As soon as he approaches him, inappropriately, because he already knew that something was going down because he was just walking, straight up to him. Another grown man walking up to you, no towel on or nothing. Got your action swinging or whatever, and he's walking towards you. You just standing there kind of in the corner. He said he pulled that thing out. He said when he pulled it out, it was like on Star Wars. You know how on Star Wars, the sword, when Darth Vader pulled his sword out, it would light up. And Luke would pull his out. Only this time, it was one-sided. He pulled that thing out. Yeah. Sliced him a couple times. Dude tries to take off running. Don't run now. Ain't no sense of running now. You ain't been running. He chases after him. Only thing they got on is shower shoes. He chasing after the dude. The dude's trying to run out of the shower. When you run out of the shower, only thing it's a door. Well, it's not even a door. It's a curtain. He's running out of the shower. Once you run out of the shower, it's probably maybe about 5 or 6 feet away. That's where the tier's at. They were on like the second or third tier. And so you got rails and there's nowhere else for you to go. As far as going straight, and you're going to go left, you're going to go right. But as far as going straight, the bars on the tier is going to stop you from going any further. Dude was already sliced up. The youngster said, I took that screwdriver. Yeah. Security obviously sees it. They call whatever code it is, code 7. Police come running in. Everybody's looking. Blood's everywhere. Youngster said, man, he was so much bigger and stronger than me, but I was trying to get his ass over that tier. Oh, yeah, this is going to be his day. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. We're going to find out if you can fly today. So the youngster say he's trying to get the dude over the tier, like, just keep stabbing him and stabbing him and stabbing him. He didn't stop. Even when security came, they had to tell him to put it down. Of course, he drops the weapon. cuff him. Medical comes for a big dude, Stan Lane. And to the whole youngster goes. They hit him with an outside charge. Well, at that particular point, he said, forget some, you know, if they look at me as a rat or whatever. Dude was trying to grate me, man. This dude was trying to grate me, and you all wasn't going to do nothing about it. Plus, I wasn't even supposed to be on this yard. I'm a minimum security inmate, and you all got me on a medium security yard. Medium or higher. You got dudes with 600 years at KSR. These people get an attorney. And the outside charges that they hit him with ultimately got dropped in exchange for him not filing a lawsuit against the DOC. As well as parole recommendation when he went in for parole. I'm like, wow. He said, so the process, it took a while. He said, I stayed in the hole for about 6 months. He said, but when I came back out, man, y'all seen the movie Juice? Bishop, played by Tupac. Everybody feared him. You got the juice now. Once they knew that Bishop was slinging that iron, everybody feared him, had respect for him. I don't know if they necessarily had respect, but they definitely feared him. Well, I'm not saying the prison yard feared him, but they definitely respected him. Pushed that blade for real, man. Put that work in. No, I was not there. I have spoken with some people to, in a sense, confirm the story. And I talked to one dude, and he confirmed the story. He confirmed it. He was there at KSR. He wasn't there like when the actual situation, but he heard what happened. And plus, a little youngster ain't really no dude that's gonna lie. What are you gonna lie to me for? He's not a dude that lies a lot. And I was like, wow, man. I said, because all this time I thought that, you know, you all in the shower, and he was like, nah, man. He said that I'm quite sure the dude would have taken it there. Why he didn't any sooner, I don't know, and I'm grateful that he didn't. He was like, because what could I really do to protect myself? They were just probably going to have to kill me. He was like, but I knew at any day they would call me to be transferred. He was like, but at the same time, he knew that just as well. I was like, man. And he said, had we been in a situation, had I been able to get my hands on some steel, I would have did Big G the same exact way. I couldn't do nothing but have nothing but respect for him, man. You know what I mean? Nothing but love, nothing but respect for him, admiration. You handled your business. That's what you're supposed to do. I always talk about how dangerous prison is not a game, man. Everybody likes the booty bandit videos, and everybody likes to joke, and they laugh at Fleece Johnson, and this is not a game, man. They will take you in prison. You got dudes in there that hasn't been with a woman in so many years, and all they do is just sit in there and work out and lift weights, and they strong, and they preserve themselves. They don't, you know, masturbate or anything like that, and they waiting for the next youngster to come along, in a sense. Only thing is, they didn't know youngster had a little dog in him, and he wasn't going for that, man. Shout out to youngster, man. Definitely shout out to youngster. Now, Stan Lane ultimately wasn't unalive, but his lungs was punctured. He was messed around, man. He was all cut up, bruised up. I don't think he will ever be the same again. And I definitely think that he'll definitely think twice about brushing up against anybody in the shower ever again. You did that, youngster. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, you're amongst the first to receive, man. Once again, man, shout out to youngster, man, for handling this business, man. Real Kens TV. Y'all make sure y'all check out part 1. We out.